Tales of a taxi company accounting clerk in Canada. I live in Canada, proudly Canadian, and took pride in accepting everyone for who they are until I worked at a taxi company 2021 to 2022. I took a business administration course in 2018 specializing in accounting. I graduated in May 2020 during COVID. It took over a year to find a position as an accounts receivable clerk for a taxi company. I was excited to start this career. Little did I know what will happen during the 8 months I worked there. I started March 2021. I encountered so many shareholders, owners of most taxis. These shareholders at my place were taxi 1 to 410, along with a few other random numbers, that were entitled misogynistic men, that even though in Canada would treat me similar to the women in their culture. India. One example is a few months after I started, one guy kept ordering me to do something for him, but in accounting you need paperwork. He kept telling me that the paperwork doesn't matter, just do it. By then he came into our office, most shareholders do this, and was breathing down my neck literally for me to not adhere to any accounting laws to do what he says because he's a man. Wants money now in his account. My manager set him straight and he came up with the paperwork. Lost and found. I was mostly in charge of it. I say mostly because even though I logged everything and would check for perishables in bags to put in fridge, my accounting manager would comb through the lost and found that was there for a week and would keep any money she found for herself. It was disgusting to see what this place was and that it's still running. She would just play dumb if someone lost money. One guy, his wallet was in our lost and found for 6 days and she wanted the money $10 CAD. I told her that he might want his wallet cause of everything else in it, so she didn't take that one. That guy was so thankful that he thanked the accounting manager. Roach problems, rat problems. We had rat feces in our files so much that it was unreadable. I had to shake a file empty of rat feces. Visible rats running across the doors and near the kitchen. Enough said. The staff have their own bathrooms, but they would leave literally blood and shit all over the toilet and counter. They have a bidet which staff would use to spray their star hole kiss shit all over the toilet seat, bowl, and wall. I would go in and find a crime scene. You would never believe how bad it was. Undescribable, too disgusting for even a picture. And this is staff. One guy that came in for lost and found was high out of his mind. He kept yelling that his stuff is back there, yet the manager looked and couldn't find it. He then proceeded to grab our fire extinguisher and spray it through the little window at us. He vandalized the place and our manager called the police too. Never showed up. This guy became more and more violent. We would call and they never came. He ended up eventually stepping outside, so my manager locked the door. Finally we could breathe. One guy was mad that we didn't have his stuff. He used the competition of this company, that he came into our unlocked back room and threatened us with a knife. The manager was able to somehow diffuse the situation. Long story short, the last straw was a vote within the shareholders. The opposition team won, who were a bunch of misogynistic a-holes, to be very nice about it. As soon as they were in charge of the company, they quickly got rid of our tattooed white guy manager that had 18 years experience and was excellent to our clientele, to an Indian guy that knew nothing. He was just a puppet for those shareholders, nothing else. He even hinted at it to us in accounting at some point. Their first day for the new shareholder team, they yelled at me that, who TF cares about the paperwork? Just do it now. I told you to do it, so do it. Then their attention was on me. They accused me of stealing lost and found. Cameras proved that I didn't do anything, no matter how much they wanted to charge me with something. So the Indian manager was ordered to follow me and watch everything that I did. I felt like I had been dropped in India that week. They barely skirted near human rights enough that I cannot report them. My dad knows our laws well, and I consulted with him. They broke multiple COVID rules, but nothing else I can prove. It's only their word against mine. Most of my friends are not white, immigrants, second or third generation Canadians, and after this experience I needed years of therapy to understand exactly what happened to me and why I hate humans. I don't hate certain people, but nowadays, after experiencing somewhat what women go through in that culture, I hate people from India. I hate saying this about myself, but I do. I will admit that a few guys from India are nice, level-headed dudes that respect women, but it's very few. Like Cab 562 shareholders, if you ever browse Reddit, you know who you are. They were nice dudes that would always ask us how we're doing. It's sad that the rest of them tainted my views of these people. With therapy, I am trying to get back where I used to stand regarding immigrants, but combine this with housing prices and all. I don't know how to feel anymore. It's hard to come back from being treated as a lesser being. I feel so bad for women who are in those situations. I was able to get away by finding a better place to work. Those women can't escape their culture and misogynistic husbands. Thankfully, I have an understanding, sweet husband of 12 years. He saw exactly what I went through with this workplace and was my rock through the worst of it. At my worst, I was drinking daily to escape the reality, along with drinking at work secretly to deal with misogynistic guys and comments, easy with a COVID mask on, and all he did was help me, even though I called him a misogynist at some point. The way he reacted made me realize that even though I saw so many guys like that at work, my husband would never do that. He helped me realize that this workplace is toxic and that I deserve better. After this, I had a good job, but it was far away. During the COVID shutdowns, I realized that I work much better at home. I told them this. That company treated me like a child, even though the seniors there were treated like gold. Mary worked from home whenever she wanted. She was retiring at the time, and she saw that I did my work no matter what. Once this current company I work at reached out to me and offered me work from home full-time with a raise, I took it. Since then, I love working this company and position, mostly data entry, knowing a bit of accounting and customer service to reps of the company. I am now terrified of losing this job. I have had so many bad experiences with jobs. I have a chronic pain and mental issue that my parents didn't believe in until my whole other story. My parents would push me to be normal, get a job and all. I have had so many bad jobs, and this one is the first one I actually love doing. Every other job I felt like killing myself, including the job where I met my husband. I love working from home. I can concentrate much better. It's easier for me because of mental and physical problems, and if things become too much, I can step away, relax at home, then go back when I'm good. As long as I enter the important stuff at work, then I am good. If you've stuck to the story by now, as you can maybe tell, I have not had an easy life, but everything that happened in my childhood and 20 feats I have been in. Therapy since I was 8 years old, and many therapists have helped me through it. I moved multiple times as a child and am the oldest of 4 kids. I needed to be the responsible one, the good example for the 3 brothers, but I hated enough people to get in trouble, which is why a school counselor was appointed to me at the age of 8. I have always hated most people, but as I get to know their personality, I start to like them. These days, my husband knows me well enough that if I start to retreat, then it's time to ask what happened during my day. He has been bullied and pushed around himself, so he understands somewhat the last 12 years.